to another weekly TFP live stream. My name's Brandon.
I'm Pat.
I'm Josh.
And we've got Brian over on the board, our producer. And we, as always, have a ton of stuff to talk about. There has been a ton of local things that have happened. We've got updates on Tyler. We've got updates on initiatives and fundraisers for Tyler and things to help raise his spirits. Obviously, crazy times, getting crazier. What can you do but drink, you know?
Just gotta beer and watch it all go down.
How are you doing out there tonight? We'd love to hear from you. As always, drop us a comment, leave us a note. I'll be running back and forth. Brian will be checking. We love the feedback. We love hearing from you. We love getting your questions. I don't really know if we have a major theme we were going to try to talk about tonight other than our big event coming up in a few days.
Yeah, it's kind of all over the map tonight, guys. We got some skirmish updates. We're really working hard to get that dialed in for you guys. Tomorrow is our last big staff meeting here to get everybody on board with the game plan, make sure we have all of our I's dotted and all our T's crossed, all the equipment is on site, everything is set. We're very excited about this coming Sunday. So a lot of progress has been made there, and we're still working to finalize some of those last little details, and it's going to be awesome. So we're very excited about that, and I'm sure we'll hit on some of those finer points later on in the show. Got some Tyler updates as they were talking about. We got that shooting in Webster. We were going to hit on that a little bit because, I was asked by Channel 10 to talk to them a little bit about that based on some of the details that were out there at that moment in time. Seems like now the situation may have changed a little bit. Right. So why don't we get into that for just a moment since we've already kind of started that ball rolling? Sure.
If I may, real quick, Josh, why don't you tell us about our sponsors?
Oh, yes.
All right.
Definitely got to hit the
So tonight's live stream sponsor is Z-Bar.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Z-Bar, New York. They own multiple locations in Western New York, Rochester, Canandaigua, Henrietta, Jamestown, Buffalo, and Batavia.
What?
You can go there for numerous things related to your car, namely the famous Z-Bart undercoating, that they provide. They also do remote starts, rhino linings for you guys that buy trucks without a lining in your pickup. I have a Toyota, so mine came with a lining. So, but they also do all sorts of other stuff, and they are the highest level that you can be for our second annual 22 to none fun run. Okay. So they donated $2,500, right, to make them like this title sponsor. Okay. So they really care about the veterans in this area.
Yeah, it's huge.
So
there's definitely, I have friends and relatives that they consider that like a must-have, living up here. Like they won't buy a car unless, they get it Z-Guarded. Yeah, like you got to do it. And that's the place to go.
Yep.
That's what you think of when you think of undercoating, rhino lining, any of that kind of stuff.
So thank you guys very much for that.
Yeah, definitely thanks for the support for the event. That's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah.
Huge.
And, all of you out there should definitely thank them,
Yes, give them your support.
Check them out.
Your business.
Like we said, there's multiple spots that you can go to. They're, pretty much everywhere in Western New York.
Yeah.
If you're in Rochester, they got locations. If you're in Buffalo, they got some locations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Check them out. Give them some business, please.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So, Pat, Webster shooting.
So,
I shouldn't say that. Webster self-defense scenario.
Incident.
Right. So obviously it's an ongoing investigation. Details are a little bit spotty. Initially, when I heard about the shooting, I didn't know too much about it other than there was a possibility that it was a home intruder and somebody had shot them on their own property in self-defense. And at that moment in time, it seemed like the police officers that had initially responded to the call, they used their best judgment, and they determined that it was likely a justified shooting based on the information that was available at that time. Obviously, they've got to do a little bit more digging and find out if the district attorney's office is going to get involved on the back end of that, right? Initially, I was under the impression, possibly a mistaken impression, that the intruder was in
In the house,
right?
right?
So obviously, Josh, if you're in your home and somebody enters your home in the middle of the night, right, and they have no reason to be there, no right to be there, and they use some sort of force to gain entry into your home, right? Generally speaking, you have the ability in New York State to respond to a threat of lethal force within your home by using lethal force yourself. However, even though you are not obligated under New York State law to retreat from that situation if you find yourself in your home and that happens, okay, you are required to use the lowest level of force that is reasonably available that you could stop the threat, right? So if the threat is not one that would justify the use of deadly force, and you use deadly force to defend yourself from that threat, and it's not deemed to be a justifiable use of force, that could cause a problem, right?
Justifiable.
Right.
Keyword.
Has to
Keyword.
be justifiable. Now, New York State has some pretty clear guidance on that, and that is called Article 35, right? Article 35 is the section in the New York State Penal Code that dictates the use of force up to and including deadly force in that self-defense context. And they have information that's readily available. I encourage you to research it. We are not lawyers, right? We do not give legal advice, so to speak, but we are aware of Article 35, and we are aware of the fact that under New York State Article 35, again, you do not have a duty to retreat from your home because your home is your castle, right? And theoretically, it should be the safest place for you to be. So you should not ever have to retreat from your home. But there are some best practices out there, right? So if you don't have to move to the unknown, right? In other words, if you are a person that your whole family is sleeping on the second floor of your home, somebody breaks into the ground floor of your home, that would be a good example of a time. We don't need to move downstairs toward the unknown, right? There's nobody down there that needs protection, right? And the only thing that we could possibly do by going down the stairs is put ourselves into a situation where we need to use more force, right, than we otherwise likely would have needed to use had we stayed in a safer location. So,
none of your things are worth that, right?
Right. So we always talk about the Shark Tank analogy, right? And if I would not jump into a Shark Tank to protect an item, right, then it's definitely not worth me putting somebody else's life in jeopardy for that thing, right? Things can be replaced, as we always say. I would say, okay, well, we're definitely going to hit on that. Thank you for the little production note there. So there is no obligation for you to retreat from your home, but there is an obligation to attempt to use the lowest level of force possible to mitigate any threats to you or your family, right? So every situation is going to be a little bit different. All of these things are obviously individual to the totality of circumstances, as we say. So understand that there are no hard and fast rules that govern these things, guys, outside of trying to use the lowest level of force that you have available to you. So Josh, would it be a good idea then for me to get myself some sort of training, some sort of knowledge, some sort of skill base so that I have lower force levels available to me before I have to resort to using a firearm?
100%.
Right.
100%. Yeah.
So if we have some other skills, some other tools, some other knowledge that we can leverage, right, probably a good idea to do those things as opposed to, right, so to using a gun. So I would suggest, for those of you who haven't already done so, I would suggest that you spend some time learning how to defend yourself a little bit, right?
With your hands.
With your, yes, exactly, right? With a firearm is great, and obviously we advocate for armed, responsibly armed citizens as well. But it's also a good idea, guys, to have some lower level of force that you can go to and rely on if for whatever reason the gun isn't available, or if for whatever reason it wouldn't be prudent for you to use a gun in a given situation. Right?
At the least, just to try to recognize what to do in that sort of situation. Like not even go out and learn to be, like some kind of ninja, but in order to recognize what you should do in that, in that sort of situation, because as we say,
the mind can't go where the body's never been, right?
That, and also the mind is
the final weapon.
The final weapon, right?
100%.
You can shoot a one-hole group all day, right, at the range. You can draw fast. You can get like sub-second draws on target. That's all fine. But keep in mind, the mind is always the final weapon. So the more that you exercise that, you will always be better.
A Shannon that says,
"Oh God,
what if I have tiny hands?"
Well, then you need to learn how to use your tiny
You need
hands.
to become a hurricane of tiny fists. Just one tiny fist after the other. That's what they should see.
You need a tiny gun then.
We had some questions. We did have some questions come in quick. I love this angle of attack, though.
Yeah.
Time for volunteers for tactical games. What's happening on Sunday?
So Sunday, guys, for those of you who aren't in the loop, and if you don't already know, you're behind. Okay, so I'll just say that. We are hosting a tactical games skirmish event this coming Saturday. Now, Sunday, excuse me. The first in New York. Right?
First in New York.
And we are the first tactical games affiliate in the state of New York, so that's pretty huge. We're also the sole tactical games affiliate in the northeastern region of the United States. So that's pretty significant impressive. As well.
Proud of that.
Absolutely. So for my volunteers, for those of you who are going to be here helping out the day of the event, first of all, you guys are awesome, right? And we really appreciate it. Second of all, I want you guys to be here at 07 if you can. And the event is scheduled to get going, like the opening ceremony kind of deal is going to get going around 08. And we should be ready to get that first event running at 8:30, right? But if I have my volunteers here at 7, first of all, I'm going to feed you guys some donuts because that's important.
Makes sense.
Make sure that you guys are like carved up, right, and ready to go. And then once I've got you guys all fed full of donuts, we're going to get you guys onto the various points on the the battles outside, so we can show you guys what's going to happen, and we'll get everybody spun up on their individual responsibilities and make sure that all the questions are answered, guys. And then at 8:30, we should be ready to hit the ground running and put on a great show for these guys. So very excited. Again, thank you so much to all the volunteers. You guys have heard it. I said it here publicly. There will be donuts on site provided by Uncle Pat. So
if you eat a donut, though, you have to give us something.
5 pull-ups.
Right. You have to perform. You can't just come and eat a donut and leave. Okay.
All it takes is all you got.
It's a verbal contract.
Right.
It's enforceable.
All it takes to get a donut is all you got. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Another question we got about tactical games. Spectators, ?
Spectators are encouraged, welcome, and free.
$0.
Nice.
Right?
$0.
So,
You might say a donut. It costs a donut.
yeah, because I need them for the volunteers.
To spectate.
But I think that people will have a awesome time just seeing these other people competing, seeing what it's about.
Watch them be miserable for a little bit.
Watching them be miserable.
Seeing
other people's gear, though, too. That was one of my favorite parts of, I spectated the tactical games for a bit when Pat was down there.
Right.
Just seeing everybody else's setups. You can look at this stuff online. You can see it in catalogs, on forums, on Facebook, all you want. But like to see it, like, okay, you're rocking that, and you did this to it, you modified it this way, and that's just that's a whole other area of it that I just love and I find interesting.
I also really like to watch the guys do their thing, right? When they're on the different battles, right? And the way that their gear is set up is going to dictate the way that they can perform, right?
Yeah.
But also it's going to dictate how they have to manipulate the gun, right? So if I need to go hands-on in the front, right, with a heavy load or something, I may need to sling my gun on the back, right? But how do I do that? And if I don't know, if I don't have a plan, if I haven't done that before, then I'm not sure if my gear is going to stay situated the way that I placed it, right? So it's always a good time to watch other people try to solve some of those same problems from an outsider's perspective, and to really get a good handle on like, hey, I like what that guy's doing. Next time I'm out here doing my thing, I'm going to try that, or maybe the opposite.
I was going to say my solution would just be like Uncle Mike's.
Oh,
that's just my
Cabela's.
Uncle Mike. Sorry. Serpa holster.
Ooh, shoot
my.
Yeah.
So, also, it is a good chance to see if maybe you want to compete in one of these in the future. Because this will not be the last one that we do.
Oh, definitely not. This won't be the last.
This is only
one.
the beginning.
You know, I also heard you were working on like maybe a training class isn't the right word, but to help people build up to doing one of these.
So Tactical Games has their own
Free
little
stuff
thing,
program.
the Tactical Games University,
Nice.
and they actually have like a train the trainer they have a train the trainer type program there it is.
Nice.
That they have set up so that we could go and become like certified Tactical
Nice.
Games University like instructors,
So when
and
you-
we would be
when you
doing
do
it
that-
their way. Yeah, I got to find out when they're going to host one, the next
Slacking
one.
so
But yeah,
much.
we'll get it. There's one at Tradecraft, December the 13th and 14th, in fact. So
Nice.
Pack your bags.
I don't know if that's a train the trainer one, but yeah, we're
Where
going
is
to figure it out. Tradecraft Range is down in Florida.
So that's why it's in December.
Right. Yeah, all of the southern states, man, those guys have it good because they get to do this stuff year round.
We're gonna add a whole nother layer of suckage though in the middle of the winter when people are out there just hating life.
This will be the Northern Boys one. Yeah. The Yankee
It'll
one.
be awesome. It'll
Gonna-
be awesome. I can't
Gonna
wait.
make you folks strong.
One way or another.
Yeah, that's gonna be.
You'll
That's
get
gonna be a
smart
heck of
or
a
you
lot
will
of
get
fun.
strong.
Okay, so we also got. Let me see here. We did get some questions quick.
Absolutely.
Ammo, Josh, real quick. Trap shooters. I answered it in the comments, but we have a bunch of trap loads
sure.
down there. You've got some.
We
kind of
have
out here, but you can move
a
right
case. Yeah, we've got some Winchester 12 gauge 2 3/4 inch 7.5 shot. We have multiple cases on sale for $99. So how many rounds is in a case?
I think there's 10 boxes to a case, so 250 rounds.
Yeah.
Yeah,
250 rounds in a case, $99.
it's pretty good.
It's like 40 cents a round. It's pretty
Pretty good.
decent price. Yeah.
For 2020 prices, yeah. So we
So-
have multiples of those.
Going back to self-defense.
Yeah, yeah.
and self-defense scenarios.
Sure.
Couple different questions. One from Chris Woods was first. He says, Wolf Blitzer on CNN yesterday asked why the police officers in Philly specifically, or police officers in general, or I'm assuming he also by extension meant concealed carry holders,
Sure.
why don't they just shoot to wound? Why don't they just shoot for the leg instead of aiming for center mass?
You know, that's a question that gets asked a lot, and it on its face to me it seems like a stupid question. I'm not going to lie to you, but there are some people out there that legitimately don't know and don't understand. So generally speaking, right, the reason that we shoot into the center of mass, as we call it, is because this is the largest stationary, generally more stationary than say your legs or your head. Right.
Sure.
There's a lot more movement up here in the head when I'm moving around and doing different stuff. The head's a very small target. And also if I'm shooting toward the head, I may be shooting in an upward trajectory, right? If I'm shooting towards somebody taller than me. And if I miss, then I'm not sure where that bullet's going to go, but it's going to go on an upward trajectory and eventually it's going to have to come down, right? So for the sake of accountability for every round that we fire, headshots are generally ill-advised unless certain specific scenarios. I am not certain.
Okay.
However, if I try to shoot someone in the legs, right, generally their legs are going to be moving around quite a bit as well, right, particularly if they're walking, running, etc. What else is in the legs, Josh? There's a couple squirty boys down there.
A couple of big squirty boys, okay? A lot of people forget the leg is not a safe place to be shot. The leg is not a magical place to be shot where you'll just be like, ow!
It's just all hamburger meat down there. You're fine.
Okay? There's major arteries in your leg, okay? You could bleed out in seconds if you get shot in the leg. So
yeah, if you get hit in the femoral artery, understand that your life expectancy is literally measured in seconds. At that point, right? So you have to get a tourniquet on there. You have to stop the bleeding immediately or you're going to die anyway, right? So in my attempt to save somebody from being killed, right, by shooting them in the leg, I may actually prolong the amount of suffering that they're going to endure because instead of being shot in the heart, which is going to stop and then they're going to pass away potentially, now they're going to be hit in the femoral artery and they're going to be bleeding to death and very much aware of the fact that the life is literally leaving their body, right? So I don't think that that's necessarily a good option. And if I miss somebody by shooting them in the leg, where's that bullet going to end up? Right? Like
could skip off the concrete into
God knows who knows?
Somebody's grandma, who knows?
There is a
Tom
lawyer
for
attached
grandma.
to every single bullet that comes out of your pistol, right? Like every single time you press that trigger, guys, understand you open
Can't take it
yourself
back.
up to a world of prosecution and every other thing. And so we need to be very judicious about the marksmanship, and we need to be very, very sure of that target. And I don't think that a leg is a certain target compared to a thoracic cavity shot, right? So.
And when do most things happen? Within what, 21 feet?
Generally
Right.
speaking, yeah, defensive shootings, if we look at stats, generally you're within 21 feet, right? So,
You can close that distance.
1.5 seconds maximum.
So
right?
is it going to be easier as somebody that's trying to defend their life to keep an eye on
the legs
where
that
the legs are
coming at
moving,
you, right.
or
Well, and
Center
am I even
mass
going to have an
coming in.
opportunity to pick up my sights, right?
Right.
Like for the majority of people, understand that if somebody is closing distance with me, the best case scenario that I can hope for is I get my gun up onto my eye line and I'm able to pick up
Or-
my front sight. Yeah, that could
or
be
shoot from here, like
right. But if I have to shoot from, some sort of retention type position, thumb, pectoral index, anything like that, I don't want to be shooting at the legs because they're going to be moving all over the place. I want to be shooting at something up high that's going to give me a better margin for error, right? So a lot of reasons, guys, why
Lots of
shooting in the
reasons.
legs
Lots of
is
different
generally
reasons.
not preferable, right?
We got another really good question, and I would love to try to get a better answer because I don't know if we're the right people that would know the answer to this
Sure.
per se. But Cindy asks, do they, meaning like the police, do the police take into consideration a person's physical capabilities when determining what an appropriate amount of force would be? For instance, say a wheelchair user, right? Do they have a different threshold where they are in danger?
That is-
I would say.
I would assume yes, but I don't know if that's
That is what
something.
we call a disparity of force, right? So I am relatively young, healthy, physically fit, right? And so on. If I were to attack and accost somebody who is elderly, it doesn't even necessarily need to be somebody who's confined to a wheelchair, right? If I attack somebody, a woman who's much smaller than me, right? There's going to be a disparity in the amount of force that I'm able to use on that person and the amount of force that they would be able to use on me without resorting to a gun, right? So if there's that disparity of force, somebody much bigger, stronger, more capable, more aggressive is attacking you, yes, that poses a different level of threat to your safety. And yes, you are going to be authorized a different level of force based on that disparity, right? So,
And that can go multiple ways too, right? If the guy that is in the wheelchair has a gun,
right, and he's pointing it at
and you
somebody,
don't,
right? Yeah, you're gonna that is still a disparity of force, right? He has the advantage at that point, even though on its face it may seem, well, he's physically disabled, right? But if a guy who is physically disabled is committing crimes and he's using some sort of a weapon, then yeah, he is opening himself up to somebody else being forced to use a weapon, right, on him, because again, they're not going to be able to do much else, right, to protect themselves. So yeah, the disparity of force could go many different ways. If a very small person was attacking a large person and he was punching him in the chest and the larger guy has a pacemaker, if he's already like enfeebled, right?
Lots of factors.
Just because the young guy doesn't know that the bigger guy has a pacemaker, is the bigger guy still going to be in jeopardy there of potentially losing his life? 100%, right? Is it his duty to inform this guy, hey, just so you know, if you punch me one more time, I'm going to have to shoot you because pacemaker, right? So yeah, all of these things come into play here, guys. And the U.S. Concealed Carry Association, their Concealed Carry and Home Defense Fundamentals course that we offer here, it talks a lot about some of those different disparities and the ways that some of these things can play out. And we go over some scenario-based stuff as well,
which is great.
I think that's a really good way to do it.
I've watched you teach that course probably 3 or 4 times, and
I really enjoy.
I learned something new every single time.
And I think a lot of people really get the most out of that course because we spend so much time on that legal side of things. We spend so much time really drilling down on that duty to retreat and helping people understand the differences between being out in public and being in your home and being attacked by somebody who has a greater capability than you and situations where you may be required to dial it back a little bit and use less force than you might otherwise be inclined to use, right?
Sure.
So, we do offer some training to that end. If you're interested, I highly encourage you give me a call and we'll talk about it and see if we can get you in a class.
Yeah, it's a great course.
A question from Chris Woods.
Okay.
He's always got a lot to say.
Yeah, absolutely. That's fine.
Nice guy,
Great.
a nice friend. I'm going to modify his question, though, because he used a word I didn't like. I'm going to say if Biden wins. He said when. If Biden wins, do you think social workers will be allowed to carry guns to 911 calls?
I don't think that anybody who is going as an agent of the government is going to be authorized to use a gun, because I think that initially they're gonna try and make it so that nobody from the government is ever allowed to use force, because racism or whatever, right? Like, yeah, no, they're gonna come up with some arbitrary reason why nobody from the government should ever use force, right? Violence is never the answer or whatever stupid shit. And so, no, I don't necessarily think that social workers are going to be able to carry guns. I think what we're going to see is more of what we've already seen, which is more lawless behavior. That's what I think we're going to see more. If Biden wins, I think we're going to see more civilians smoking bad guys. That's what I think we're going to see more of.
Probably either way, honestly. Probably either way, because if Trump wins, then
there's going to be more bad guys out there.
They have already threatened civil war, as they say. So either way, we're in for a ride.
Well, I'm from the Show Me State, so
yeah, right. Yeah.
Nice. I guess so. Circling back to the Webster incident.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where do you think that guy stands? What do you think? You know, or that person? I actually don't know.
Yeah, I'm not even sure the gender. I mean, there's so much information that I haven't really. So I've been paying attention to a bunch of other.
At this point,
too.
It's still no charges have been filed. I haven't seen.
I think
someone can correct us if we're wrong, but I don't think there's been any charges, and I don't think there's going to be.
It doesn't sound that way. I think if there were going to be charges brought, they probably would have already been brought. I don't think there's going to be any new information that comes to light that the police and the district attorney's office haven't already seen, unless it turns out these people knew each other, and then that would probably be the only fly in the ointment there. But I think all the information that they need at this point is already available, and if they haven't charged anybody, probably nobody's going to get charged. So
flies get in my ointment.
Right?
Hate it.
I just don't use ointment anyway. That's all.
Nice. What's this cool thing behind you?
That's a shirt, Brandon.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we call this a T-shirt where I'm from. I don't know about you.
I've been in online school for too long. Virus.
But Mama said, Mama said. So this is a T-shirt. They put some ugly jamoke with a rifle on there, and as you can see, it says it. Yeah, it is. They did it.
That's Pat.
So it says tactical games, right up there. Alpha Standard Skirmish, November 1, 2020, and then on the back here, it says the firing pin, New York's finest indoor shooting range, which is absolutely true.
100%.
So those shirts are going to be available. $64.99 is not the price.
$20, I think.
Yeah, I think we came up with $20, $19.99. It's a great shirt. It's like dry fit type material.
Athletic wear.
Moisture wicking,
Stretchy.
right? It's stretchy. And it's got my face on it, if that's a selling point for you. Yeah, made right here, right? And those are going to be available for the competitors at the games. We also got some cool T-shirts in the back for all the volunteers. Not quite as cool as those ones. They didn't put any rifle guys on there, or it does say staff on it, so you look official, right?
Nice.
And
but you don't get on the calendar.
No,
sorry.
Yeah, can we get a calendar update? How's that? That's going to happen, right? I don't know if these people know.
We have to figure out a way to add more months because Sniper Dan took too many good pictures.
There are so many.
Dan. Up in Alaska was out with his wife taking photos yesterday, and they are glorious. Let me tell you what.
If you like hairy guys in ranger panties with rifles, we got some pictures for you. We're not going to give them to you.
Calendar update. So calendars are going to be available sometime within a month, I would say. We're just waiting on a couple more of our guys to get some photos taken. Jeff, I think, needs a photo. He's going to get his taken tomorrow. We'll get Dan's photo in there. I think, what did we land on, Brandon? Like $14.99?
I think so.
Probably.
Yeah. $15 for the calendar.
$15 calendar with all of our delicious mugs on it. So we'll ship them all over the country. I know that there's a lot of people out there watching from out of state that want one. So we will hook you up. You can give it to your friends and family for Christmas. They might slap you, but at least they'll have a nice calendar.
They will have a nice calendar.
To know the days of the week and month.
Darnell's going to be on there, so that'll be good, right?
Darnell's on there, yeah. His picture looks wicked
His
cool.
picture is super cool, right?
Yeah, Phil Casper is doing a really, really good job. If anybody needs any photos taken in the Western New York region, check out Philip Casper Photography.
Yeah, highly recommend.
Super cool dude.
Super good guy, and he takes some really awesome
Very, very
snaps.
talented.
Yeah,
Very talented human.
Super good dude.
We got a question going back to TTG.
Uh-oh.
How do you volunteer for that? I would say it's a little too late for this specific event because it's in like 4 days.
I think for this event, I think volunteer slots have pretty much been exhausted.
But we're going to do more of these.
There will be more. Definitely, keep abreast with all the new goings on, on our Facebook and stuff. We announce these things, on a semi-regular basis when we remember. That's
the key. Thank you for adding that TFP qualifier there.
Yeah.
When we remember.
If we can get it together long enough to get it done, we'll do that. But there will be other opportunities, guys. So for all of you who are still out there, wanting to participate, if you can't get in as a volunteer, just come on down and watch.
Come and watch.
Come and watch and hang
email.
out.
I'm sure Steve will log it. Like, still send an email.
Yeah, still send an
roster.
email, right? And
You can actually probably still register on Practice Score.
Yeah.
If you wanted to.
I think we probably could support that.
Yeah.
Because you have to have one of those anyways, right?
Right.
So.
And eventually, when we're on a Polar Wave, we're going to have hundreds of competitors. We're going to need scores of volunteers.
But it'll be up on our website. You'll just click a link. I'll make it really easy for you guys.
I'll tell you, these groupies that you've got, Josh.
Me? Usually it's Pat.
Well, again, there's the same Shannon lady.
That one again?
Yeah. After you, bro.
I think you should call the sheriff maybe about this after. But how much skin are we going to see? I mean, if we use Dan's calendar.
At the tactical games or in the calendar?
In the calendar. Yes.
All right.
It is a safe for work calendar.
It's a safe for work calendar, yes.
I don't know if you'd want to take it to work.
Possibly more next year's calendar.
There we go.
Dan kind of set the bar a little bit high for all of us with his Ranger panties.
Yeah, I'm gonna need a couple more months to get in condition before I can start putting out the nudes.
Yeah, Dan set the bar pretty high.
Yeah.
On Dan's month, you'll see a fair amount of skin. On everybody else's month, a normal amount of skin.
Next year's calendar, I'm gonna hang dog. No,
my sleeves are rolled up in my picture, so I believe that my ankles are covered,
exposed
though. So no, they're covered. I'm not that.
So I don't want to make fun of this guy, but there was a show that we used to like that had a really good kitty. What was the kitty's name?
Steve French. Steve French.
So that is the person who asked if it does it up. Steve French asked if he could volunteer, right? And he wants to. He's stationed up at Drum.
Oh, cool.
And he wants to drive all the way down here and support us in the tactical games. So
that's
definitely
awesome.
come on down.
Yeah, Steve, come on down, man.
Sign up for the games.
Nice. Your wife's been watching the whole show, Pat, at Walmart. Just
walking around Walmart,
screaming at the customer service people. No, I'm just kidding.
But why?
It's always my fan.
Todd asked Todd Chanel,
yep.
Which also, Todd, just thank you for everything. That's all I'm going to say, but just thank you.
Hi, buddy.
Hey, Todd.
So he asked about a CMP shoot.
Oh.
And we are definitely going to do those at Polar Wave once we get that set up. So I've been working with Matt Hume of Hume Construction out of the Batavia area. He is a one-stop shop. He not only does construction and has a whole construction crew, but he is a licensed engineer. So he can make you drawings. He can get you through the town, planning board, zoning boards. He, he knows who to. Wait, what is that?
It's my CMP coin.
Oh, okay. I thought that was the
carry it
bribe for the
along
zoning
with you,
board to get your.
Oh yeah, of course.
I thought that was your bribe for the zoning board to get your project. There's
one doubloon.
I learned everything I know about business from Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield. Great movie if you haven't seen that. There's a scene he's like in class, and the professor, very stuffy professor, is like, "Well, you need to get the permits, and you need to get this done, you need to get that done," and he's like, "Listen, buddy, like." You don't know anything about business. Like, well, first you got to get out of the docks, and you got to
smooth over
you got to get the dock workers on your side first, all right? You got to pay the sharks over here. You got to give them your cut. Then you can build. Like, so fun. Such a great movie. But yeah. So, anyways, Matt Hume is working with me, and John DeWitt. CMP is the Civilian Marksmanship Program. Very cool program that was established after World War I. We realized that our soldiers, it would be a lot better for the country if our soldiers just had a good understanding of marksmanship before they got to the military. The military is always going to teach you to shoot better, but if we had more farm boys that knew how to shoot, that would just be better in general. Mm-hmm. So the government set up this program, and it was, again, just to encourage civilian marksmanship. And we just want to have a really good populace of people that know how to shoot, which is pretty cool. And for a long, long time, they still do, they would take surplus government firearms and sell them to like NRA members. There are tons.
Distribute them.
You might not know, but your uncles and grandfathers back in the day could have bought like 1911 pistols for like $15.
Oh yeah,
straight like Colts, straight from the government.
M1 Garands.
Yeah, M1 carbines.
$12. Yeah.
Ridiculous prices, and that was going into like the 50s and 60s even.
Through the mail, right to your house.
All of our uncles and grandfathers that didn't buy those and just stashed them away for us, like jerks. So, anyways, a big part of what they do, they're not jerks. Your grandpa's okay.
Coming for you. Coming for you.
Go visit it if you can, okay? Thing they do are competitions, obviously, to encourage this marksmanship. So, a lot of you know of Camp Perry out in Ohio. They do a huge, right? That's where it is, right?
That's the big boy. Yeah, that's the granddaddy
like the
shoot.
Big shoot.
Yep.
They do 400, 500, 600 yards. We've got Josh has competed not out to that distance, but Josh is going down that path. There's people that use everything from 1903, 1917s. M1 Garands are extremely popular, of course.
Yeah, so the rifle.
Yep, service rifle competition. They do all sorts of stuff.
Oh yeah, there's
what's
one.
What's the center called? The Whittington Center? Or there's a.
Ooh, I don't know.
They just built a gorgeous multi-million-dollar project. Someone will tell us in the comments here. And yes, John, they just started selling surplus 1911s again from the military. Those were blocked for a while. I don't remember all the politics behind it, but they weren't released, and they were.
Some of them are not that much either. Like some of them can be had for like $900 or so.
Yeah, they're not that bad in today's market. Yeah. For Colts, for genuine U.S. military
not
property
awful.
Marked. So basically, around here, what's most accessible, they do a 200-yard shoot.
Yes.
And you can look it up. There's a certain string of fire. There's several different, divisions and shoots and disciplines you can do within it. There's tens of, maybe not, I don't want to say hundreds, but there's quite a few disciplines you can do
there's
within the CMP. But a common one is service rifle.
Service rifle, yeah.
Where you're using, again, basically a 1903, a 1917, an M1 Garand, or
M16,
a certain type of AR-15. Josh would know the rules a little bit better, but there's some specifics in there. It's not a free for all. You can't do whatever you want. But you're shooting generally rifled sights, although you are allowed some slight magnification now to 4 power.
If you're shooting modern military, which is an AR platform, yes, you can have up to I think a 4.5 power.
There you go.
Scope.
So it's a very regimented, like all the other, like IPSC, like USPSA. They all have their niches and they're very regimented in their discipline. This is no different. This is based on like the purest like marksmanship, for riflemen. Like that's what it's based on. So we're definitely going to be doing those out of Polar Wave. I believe if all goes according to plan, we'll be able to stretch to the full 600 yards out there, which will be huge. There's really no place out here set up for that. Most of the clubs max out at like 200 or 300.
Right.
So that'll be pretty cool. We'll get that going for sure. I've been meeting with Matt. We're working on, the process of just going through and getting that open. So again, it's a long process. Probably going to be springtime, summertime before that's open. We want to do it right. But that'll be your playground out there for sure too. That'll be your.
But yeah, when it's ready, we're gonna have a great facility for you guys, and we're gonna have
Pain Ranch.
Yes, we're gonna have the ability to get you guys out there and smoke
figure
your
out
bags off.
Something with some alliteration. Pat's Pain Palace, maybe.
Ooh, there we go.
Pat's
I like it.
Pain Pantry.
James Robinson, who's going to go on top of the Christmas calendar? Like who's the centerfold of the calendar? It's got to be Dan, right?
Got to be Manly Dan because he's not here.
It's got to be Dan, yeah. Who's going to be on the cover, though?
Not me. Can we get?
I like that one of you and Joe.
I vote the one of me and Joe.
Yeah, I
I
like you
like
and Joe.
that one.
That's pretty cool,
Yeah,
yeah.
you guys can take some turns being in photographs for a little while.
Yeah, there are
Also,
lots of you.
I'm
photographs.
everywhere. I don't want to do.
Also, I just want to give a shout out again. Thank you to everyone who showed up this past Sunday to take that picture for Tyler.
Yeah.
We had an amazing turnout.
That was fun.
It's always one of those things. It's like whenever we've done a Freedom Weekend here, you do all the work. Now there was like a lot of setup. We just put the word out there, but like you do all this, you organize this thing, you get it ready. And like I showed up, you were here working on the range with my dad. I showed up like an hour early. I was all like geared up. I'm pumped. I'm psyched. And there was like 3 people out here.
Yeah.
Till like 1:45. And then they just started flooding. I was getting nervous. I was like,
yeah.
oh man, it's going to be,
Disappointing.
like, should we even take the picture if there's only a few of us? But then like so many people, there was a good, 50, 60 people? Like,
I think so, yeah.
Just under 60.
Yeah.
56 or 58 in that photo.
I would say almost not everyone, but so many of us were all, tricked out. And we didn't, you didn't have to come that way. We put that out there, but it was just so cool to see so many people show up. And we were laughing. We were like, oh man, if a trooper drives by right now, or if like a sheriff would probably be cool. Most of them would know us, but maybe they did. For all we know, we weren't
Private property, man.
to every car. Yeah, yeah. I just would have loved to have seen, like what would have gone through their mind.
What are y'all
If
doing?
you could have seen that,
business.
Yeah, you just hit record.
We should have those in a
I saw one. He sent me a picture of one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
one of them's
sweet.
done.
Oh,
I don't know
great.
when we'll get them, but yeah.
Great.
He showed me a picture of the staff, the group photo of
Again,
staff.
Phil Casper.
Yes. Made
Stand
some
up.
gorgeous,
Stand up, dude.
gorgeous canvases that turned out really well.
Cool.
James Robinson said Tyler should be covered.
It's not a bad idea. We do have a lot of good pictures of him.
We've got photos of Ty. Yeah, that
Not
would
a
be.
bad idea. That is a good idea.
I like it, James.
Pat's Paddock of Pain. That's a
Pain
good
Paddock.
one.
Okay.
From,
Pain Paddock.
All right.
from
Pain
Jim,
Patty, like
Lieutenant-
rice patty.
Lieutenant Jim.
Welcome
like it.
to the rice patties.
Loki says get more peanut butter. Your dog. It's a message from your wife.
Loki has his
April.
own Facebook, and I'm just finding out. I'm gonna friend him.
Also, John says that he met your dog on Sunday, John DeWitt, and you've got a very nice dog.
Yeah. Thanks.
That was only one of 18.
Yeah. There's actually 3 others. They're all pretty. They're all pretty cool. Loki's probably my favorite though.
Oh man. Yeah, John Davis was out there with us on Sunday. That really was special. That was, I think that meant a lot for everybody. That was obviously, if you were there, you care about Tyler.
Yeah.
That was just good. None of us can go see him, so it was good for all of us just to be together, and just do something for him. Yeah, Mary Ann, his grandma, was there. That was a lot of fun. That was.
I'm sure he's.
Great
I'm sure he's
Great time.
really going to enjoy those photos when he gets a chance to see them.
Yes.
It's going to be awesome. So awesome.
That will be fun. Speaking of him, I talked to him today again. I got to talk to him last Thursday on the phone just before the live stream. And I was just driving around today before the live stream, and I got a phone call from Tyler's mom, and it was him on the phone. And we talked for another good 20 minutes. And, he's got a long road ahead of him, like we all know. I'm sure everyone can imagine. And he's physically, he's getting better each and every day. He's certainly not out of the woods by any stretch of the imagination, but he is getting better every day. He's going through his surgeries. They're going good, for the skin grafting. And he's just really looking forward to getting back out here and shooting and just seeing everybody and just being a part of our community again. He just wants, again, to say thank you to everyone who's done anything, whether it's the GoFundMe, whether it's coming down, whether it's even just thinking of him and sending those positive vibes, it really, really means a lot to him. So when he is ready, he does have the means now, or the means is almost in place. When he is ready, he does want to return to the live streams, even if it's not physically here standing next to us. Maybe we'll zoom him in. He'll be in a little box over here somewhere.
Definitely.
But yeah, he wants to return. He will return. But again, it feels like it's been forever. It's only been 15 days.
Yeah.
He's still.
That's crazy.
It is. Oh yeah. It feels like it's been 15 weeks.
Yeah.
But
Sure does.
he's thinking about all of you. So let's keep thinking about him. Please keep up the cards, the letters. We can certainly take care of them here if you send them to us, or we can drop the link to where you could send them to his room at Strong. We're trying to organize another secret thing. We've heard potentially that his window overlooks the parking garage.
Oh,
We
yeah?
might be able to position ourselves on the parking garage in such a way where maybe we could shine a bunch of lasers in his room or something, or hold up, again, just, we can't go in that room with him.
Can we
can't.
hold up a boombox?
boombox.
Oh, yeah.
Do some.
It'll be raining, right? Yeah,
I've had the time of my life. Maybe
you got to keep going.
a different song.
Oh man, yeah.
Cannon.
Yeah, t-shirt cannon.
There we go.
Yeah.
Oh man, he would love that. He would absolutely love that. So, yeah, he's getting there. It's gonna be a long time, but that's.
So it is a marathon, guys, not a sprint.
Right.
So let's make sure that we keep that support for Tyler going, right? Because obviously he's going to need that as he continues in this recovery, right? So we appreciate the support he's gotten up until now, but just remember that there's a long road ahead. So let's not expend all of our energy and goodwill in the beginning, right?
Brian Kirby posted a GIF in the chat. It's very appropriate that you can't see, but. It's that scene, him holding the boom box up. Yeah. You got it.
I'm a big fan of Brian Kirby.
Question I got missed when we were doing.
Yeah, please. Tell me.
All right, so jumping back to a question, John DeWitt, I caught you, just was waiting for a chance to get it in, kind of got sidetracked. So John was asking, he's been concerned about carrying for a couple of months. He's going to go see a new doctor this weekend, and he's wondering, is it a jerk move to carry in a doctor's office for a doctor he's never met before? So
I would say that depends on what your doctor's going to be looking at, right? If you're going to end up,
You're going to have to disrobe,
yeah,
right? If you're going to have to take your belt off, right? Then your gun's going to have to come off, right? And if your gun has to come off, now the gun is in the doctor's office. And if the doctor is comfortable with that, specifically, I've gone to a doctor in Batavia for a couple of different orthopedic type procedures. And some of the time when I have gone over there, I've had to take off, my clothes or whatever for x-rays and different shit like that. So when I do that, they're pretty cool over there because they know that, well, first of all, the doctor himself is a gun guy. But second of all, they know that I generally carry a gun, right? So when I go over there, it's not an issue, right? I take my stuff off. I keep it with me, obviously, because I need to have it secured. And I do it that way. But, you may want to just make sure that you're not going to a place where they try to limit or restrict concealed carry. Because some doctors' offices, they're not cool about that stuff. And if you go in there and you take your pants off and you're carrying a gun, you might not be welcome at that office anymore if they have some sort of.
And you never know who they're going to tell about that, right?
Right.
I mean, one phone call could you could easily get your permit taken away.
And in particular from a medical professional, unfortunately, in New York State, they have really opened the floodgates as far as some of the red flag laws and possibilities for somebody to make a complaint about you doing something that seems totally innocuous to you or me or to Josh. And that, they might not perceive as being innocuous. And if they report it to the wrong person and that person, seemed, oh my goodness, he was carrying a gun. Well, we're going to report that right away. Right? It could become an issue.
Exactly.
So it's going to definitely be an issue. Sorry, it's definitely going to be an issue for John. He's going to the eye doctor, so pants always come.
At the eye doctor, 100%.
When I go, wait.
They got to check out the one eye.
Wait, do you go to the doctor where like that happens and then?
Well, every eye, like prostate check too.
Right. Somebody like the guy that does the check walks out of the room, right, and then the doctor comes in and asks, "Who was that?
Yeah.
Who was that guy?" Is that the doctor that you?
You know, you gotta get your eyes checked every month, though. They say. So I just try to do
every month.
I try to do my part. Go ahead. You were gonna say something.
So Todd followed up. He says that most hospitals won't allow you to carry. That's a very valid point. So
hospitals specifically, right? Yeah.
Make sure where you're going because that could be a problem.
Yeah, if you're going to an office, right, in a private like office park, they may even have some specific rules on that facility. So it's good to know before you head.
So there's a few ways to get around stuff like that, right? Cargo pants.
Sure.
Cargo pants are great.
Pocket carry. I know it's not the most ideal.
Shove it. Shove it in one of your pockets. Take a little backpack with you. Yeah. I mean, there's ways. If you absolutely want to carry a gun, you'll find a way.
Sure.
To do it, right?
John Davis says that his doctor carries while he's in the office.
Awesome.
So, I'm assuming that's a local doctor around here, but yeah, absolutely.
Good.
And Brian Kirby takes his pants off in the car to save time. Makes a ton of sense.
Why not?
Makes a ton of sense. It keeps the crease in them too.
Such a smart.
Seinfeld,
he's so smart.
Let's see.
He's always got good tips like that.
100%.
Just the tip.
Just for a second.
Cindy asked if Tyler or Matt do they need anything else? And I don't know, Josh, if you want to take this one. It's just so hard. Like
they're pretty set on most things, right? A little bird did tell me though that Matt was really into Rubik's cubes.
Okay.
He can apparently finish one in like 15 seconds.
Really?
He lost a lot of those in the fire. So, if somebody's feeling froggy, they want to get Matt a nice Rubik's cube. That would be cool. As far as like regular everyday stuff, they're pretty set.
I mean, Matt's living with his folks. Tyler, it's going to be months until he needs a place.
Yeah,
right.
I've had a lot of people reach out to me for furniture and stuff, and I want to say yes to everybody, but it's tough now because, like you said, Matt will be at home probably through the holidays. We don't know when Ty's going to get out. I don't have a place to store it, and I don't even know what they would need. Yeah. So it's that kind of thing right now is tough. But as far as everyday, as far as like everyday clothing and stuff like that, they're pretty set.
Is there something on the counter there about a Tupperware sale?
Tupperware, there's a sale going on.
Of course,
it's going to start. Sorry, it's taped down. It's going to start soon. And what's nice about that is that you can buy stuff from Matt and Ty if you want. And we have a place to store that. So, if you wanted to help them get some stuff like to furnish, that kind of thing, like Tupperware stuff, anything to do with, like cooking and
kitchen,
food, storage,
storage
stuff like that. When we kick that off, you can buy some of that for them. You can buy it for yourself. You can buy it for your friends and family. All of the proceeds will be going to Matt and Tyler. So that's going to be pretty cool. Keep an eye on Facebook. We'll post a link for that. We do have the order forms in store here, and you can also order online for an extra $5. So,
Josh, you mentioned something about carrying a backpack. You want to tell us about maybe a Merce that you carry? There's an insider that really just knows. She seems to.
Who is this lady?
Who is this?
I don't know who this Shannon is, but
I have not carried a Merce in years. Okay. And I prefer it be called a satchel. All right.
She specifically says you carry it when he's not out with the guys. So that's probably just why we've never seen it. It makes sense.
Must be referring to my satchel. Let's dive into that, okay? First of all, she should know that I am not a fan of off-body carry.
Generally, none of us are.
It's true.
Not a fan of off-body carry.
It doesn't sound like a credible witness. I don't think. Doesn't sound.
I think she's just trying to get under my skin. She's trying to embarrass me in front of my friends.
She's trolling you? Oh my God.
Maybe.
So Anthony, great friend of ours, Anthony Colombo, he makes a great comment. We should have them basically make the equivalent of a wedding registry. When they're ready for their own place, have them go, this is what I need. People can help support it. I think that's a great idea.
That would be wonderful.
Yeah,
it's a good idea. I don't know if they will do it.
Sure. Yeah, Tyler, we are going to have to do that for them.
Yeah.
Like, Tyler and Matt are not those kind of people that.
They've already gotten so much that they're, they're going to feel bad asking for more stuff, honestly. But, we can definitely try it.
Nice. Switching gears, Brad says that he just got his pistol permit.
Cool.
And he doesn't know what type of gun,
Brad.
I'm assuming pistol,
Right.
That he wants. Do we have anything for him to try? And John DeWitt says, how European of you, Josh? But yeah, go ahead.
For my satchel?
Brad just got his permit. What, maybe that's such a loaded question, but we have a plethora of guns for him to try out. Not really necessarily anything for him to shoot right now, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, normally we would say just come right down and we can help you out. Being that we're in the middle of a nationwide ammo shortage that we've been in for 8 or 9 months now, we don't really have ammo for you to rent.
Although
Pat offers a very nice one-on-one test where he can help you choose something one-on-one and talk about the different features of a gun. And we also have
the smokeless range.
The smokeless range, right?
So we do have a little bit of availability to help you out. Yeah, you.
We have the new laser.
Yeah, we have the lasers now. So now
we
can actually use our rental guns out on the smokeless range as opposed to doing it on the live fire range. Now, obviously, you're not going to get some of the benefits of recoil and following through on your sights, and there's going to be some things that we can't do exactly the same.
So let's say smokeless range.
So the smokeless range is it basically involves a computer and a camera and a laser projecting an image onto a projection screen for the camera to read the laser on a target projected by the projector. And lots of projecting, right? So basically we shoot a laser onto a projector screen, a camera captures that image and it relates it to a point on the target, and it gives you downrange feedback or the equivalent of downrange feedback. And it shows you where your round would have impacted on the target or whether you would have missed the target. So that gives us some opportunities to work on things like sight alignment, trigger control, drawing the gun from the holster, stance, right, good grip, some of the basic fundamentals of pistol marksmanship. And it also gives you a good opportunity to see, what guns feel good in your hand, what guns feel less good in your hand, your reach to the trigger, right, because that's going to relate to the size of your hand and the size of the gun. How are those two things working together? So we do have options there in terms of being able to help you try different stuff out. Indicated ammo being where it's at right now. If you find some 9mm ammunition elsewhere and it is factory ammunition in new condition, then you would be able to bring the factory ammunition down here, use one of our rental guns in one of those individualized sessions Josh was referring to, and we would be able to spend some time looking for an appropriate handgun for you and at least narrow your options down to, say, a top 5 or a top 3. And some people end up leaving out of here knowing, exactly what gun it is they want to buy.
Sometimes it takes 1 or 2 lessons.
Sometimes it takes a little bit longer just because, there's a lot of different handguns out there. And if, one of the things that really helps me out is if you've done a little bit of research on the front end before you come in, so you have a general idea. One of the things that can really hurt that process though is when you're like really married to, I have to have a Glock 19 because such and so said I should have a Glock 19, and then I get you here and I find out that the Glock 19 does not fit in your hand.
They're not wrong though. I mean,
you should have a Glock 19, right? Like ideally, yes, we should all have Glock 19s. We love Glock 19s.
I was going to jump in there too. Some people overthink that so much, and they're like, I have to find the perfect
The
gun,
specific one, right?
You know, and it's like, not that you should just take any old gun or whatever, but
especially right now.
Yeah,
you can't
really play that game as much.
It's tough to be picky right now, guys.
You can definitely train. You know, generally for most guns, you can train to be very proficient with that firearm. Like as long as it's comfortable, you know what I mean.
The fundamentals of marksmanship are
it's-
going to follow you across different platforms, right? Generally speaking. So if you learn proper fundamentals, you can generally apply them well enough with a wide variety of handguns to accomplish getting hits onto a target. Consistency and like precise accuracy, generally that's going to come from finding, you know, the gun that fits you the best and the sights that, you know, work best with your eyes and the trigger that allows you to apply the most straight press from front to rear. That really, guys, is one of the key factors is, can I get my finger in a relationship with this trigger that allows me to move it straight from the front to the rear?
Questions?
Sure.
What does a one-on-one lesson cost? And is that something we have to schedule?
$60 per hour is what we charge for a one-on-one session. And yes, you are going to need to schedule that in advance because I'm not always here. And if I am here, I'm either working the gun or I'm probably in another lesson or I'm running around like my hair's on fire doing some other stuff. So
usually it's not on fire.
Generally it's not on fire. Every once in a while we have an incident. So
Chris Woods, is 22 long rifle a no-go for a carry gun? Too weak?
Look, man.
If you carry, this is what we normally say, right? If you're gonna carry a 22 LR, be prepared to get into a fight with somebody afterwards. Okay. Would I want to get shot with one? No. Is it gonna stop a crackhead coming at me? Also, no.
Here's the thing. If you shoot me directly in my sternum with a 22 long rifle, and I'm not talking about like you get a bullet that passes in between two of my ribs. Are you going to be able to punch a 22 long rifle bullet, 40 grain bullet at the speed of smell? Are you going to be able to punch that bullet through my sternum and stop my heart? No, you are not. Right? If you intend to shoot a grown man with a firearm, you better make sure that firearm can break a grown man's bones and can penetrate into all those pipes and pumps and do what you need it to do. Because otherwise you're pissing in the wind.
The other big thing that I generally tell people that ask about 22 is reliability. It's the most unreliable.
Rimfire ammunition, 100%.
A 22 revolver, is a different story. But again,
still same ignition.
But still,
right. Same.
They're making millions of rounds at a time.
It's just not made for that. Squirrel slam all day. You know what I mean? Like varmint shooting, target shooting, having fun all day. Training, getting close. Yes, it has its place for some people.
As far as like actual serious use, I wouldn't do it, man. And think about the least reliable 22 that you've ever shot and how many different malfunctions you experience with that gun. And now think about your carry gun doing that exact same thing to you when you actually need it.
So I would say that 22 LR is to self-defense as shotgun is to home defense, right?
There you go.
Generally speaking.
I mean, it's better than nothing.
Definitely.
It's better than
not
nothing.
having a gun.
It's not the most optimal choice that you can possibly have, right?
You're just limiting what you can actually accomplish with it, right? And if I ever have to shoot through glass, right, and hit a target on the backside of that glass, is that bullet going to make it to the target?
Yeah, I love it.
It was a very good question, though, and it's one that we get a lot.
We get that question quite a bit, and I have no issue with answering it, but just understand what that bullet is, what those bullets are designed to do, and what they're not designed to do. And what they're not designed to do is to penetrate through, human bones and get into vital organs and put targets on the ground.
Squirrel bones, yes.
Squirrel bones, 100%. My bones are not squirrel bones.
Cool. Well, that's really all we've got tonight for questions. I don't know if there's anything else. We're over an hour. I don't know if there's anything else we wanted to hit on tonight. The raffle. We come over here. We had some people. I think we talked about it last week, but we've had some amazing donations come through for a raffle.
Cool.
We're working on getting the tickets together. Again, like we talked about before, Ty's going to have an extremely long road here. So all of the there's a ton of love and support now. We just want to make sure we stretch that out. It is a marathon.
6 months from now, we're going to need that love and support to still be there.
Yeah. So we just, we were thinking maybe we wait, I don't want to say a month per se, but maybe we just wait a little bit longer. Tyler, like I said, I've talked to him several times now. I talked to him last Thursday. I talked to him today. He is still pretty drugged up, as you would expect. I mean, he's in a ton of pain. They keep him,
Sedated,
semi-conscious, basically. Yeah. So we talked, we had a full conversation, but I know he didn't remember any of it. He's just in and out. So, I think we should wait. I know if we wait a little bit longer, we'll get some even better donations as well. People will find it in their hearts to donate some more items to it, or we'll find suppliers. I don't know if we want to. Do we have that rifle? It's not out of the box, but
it's in the back. I can grab
Big
it.
Rock. Yeah, you want to grab it real quick? Big Rock. One of this is a company that none of our customers really know who they are, but one of our big distributors called Big Rock. One of our best friends, Kevin, recently got a job there as a salesman, and one of the conditions of him working there, he said, all right, I will work for, and who does this? When they're getting a job, you don't really get to set your terms. That's, maybe that's a thing, but I've never gotten a job.
Well, if you're going to bring Kevin Bach into your company.
Okay, it is Kevin Bach, yeah.
Gonna...
So Kevin was like, all right, my only condition is that I get to have the firing pin as my client, as one of my customers. So they were like, okay, whatever, Kevin. So he's our salesman. And he put in a request. He called me the other day. He put in a request for a delicious, this is a 110, right? Or just 10?
12.
Sorry, Savage Model 12.
12 LR.
Long range
LRB.
hunter, right?
LR.
Long range
This is Model
something.
12 there.
Okay.
What's that? A 22-inch barrel? I mean,
Heavy.
that's
Heavy.
heavy.
Also fluted.
Accu trigger,
Yep.
target crown, 6.5 Creedmoor. Just a tack driver
Sweet
in
stuff,
every sense
too.
of the word.
It's just
What was
like,
MSRP on this? 12, 1,300? I would
Around
say?
there, yeah. Around there.
This is an extremely high-end target rifle, precision rifle. They just straight up gave it to us. So that tells you what kind of companies are in the gun business as well. They're a distributor that none of you will ever interact with. Unless you are an FFL yourself, you'll never deal with this company. But I just want to sing their praises that, we didn't even reach out to them. Obviously, Kevin is a very good friend of ours. He was one of the first people that knew what happened to Tyler before we went public with it too. And he was like, well, let me see what I can do. He talked to his bosses over there at the company, and they sent us this. Dealer cost on this is well over $1,000. This was expensive for everyone involved that sent it to us. We were like, well, we can't just give you a rifle. We got to give you a scope. So we've got a very nice Vortex Crossfire 2. Nice basic,
6 to 18, yeah.
Yeah, entry-level scope that'll serve you really well until you can upgrade, you know what I
Plenty
mean?
of magnification for getting it done out.
It's got a BDC reticle, right?
Yep.
So
Vortex
and,
is dead hold BDC.
20 rounds of 6.5 Creedmoor, which ammo is ridiculous right now to get. That almost might be worth more than all this combined, right? But yeah, so this is just one of the awesome items. This package deal will be on the ticket. Maybe we can find a sling for it or a buy. Does it have 2 slings?
One stud.
Just one stud. Sometimes Savage will do 2, I've seen, but still cool. Put a bipod on here, maybe. We're going to trick this out a little bit. And I think we showed last week, we have an AUG.
Styro.
One of our best friend customers, Jason, gave us his AUG. It was up here on consignment, and he heard what happened to Ty, and he was like, you know what?
Take that thing off the shelf.
Yeah, take it off the shelf, put it in the back, and raffle it for Ty. And another great friend of ours, Joe, came down. You might remember Instructor Joe. He used to do the Saturday night shoots way back in the day. He brought down 3 full firearms, a Marlin camp rifle, a nice upper, a Beretta Pico, handgun, a lower, just a bunch of stuff, again. So we can't thank him enough. Some SIG also from him, he arranged. Some SIG Echo 1 thermals, which are absolutely disgusting and amazing. Too cool to play with those. So we're going to have a really badass raffle with probably like $10,000 worth of stuff on there, I would say. So keep in tune. But yeah, like we said, we just want to wait, maybe when Tyler's a little bit more, aware, I guess, of the support that he'll see. That way he'll see it and he can really, because that was the biggest thing. One of the times I talked to him, he can't have any visitors, he's alone in there. So he does not know, I know he can feel it, but until he can go back and people can show him all of this, once he's with it more.
Well, and he gets a chance to read all the cards.
Right. Yes.
Right.
Yeah. There's the AUG. You ever seen a New York legal AUG with a removable mag? How cool is that? And 30 years too early, ahead of its time, that is a Marlin camp rifle that takes, what is that? 1911 magazine.
Sweet.
A pistol caliber carbine with interchangeable mags with your handgun.
It's huge.
What is this, 2020 or is it 1980?
Right.
Ahead of its time. People really didn't think these were that cool back then. I mean, they were, but
nobody knew.
Yeah, people just didn't know what they had.
Don't appreciate it till it's gone.
That's right. Ruger made an old version of the same type of thing way back in the day, a Ruger police carbine. That same idea, interchangeable mags with, like, I want to say they're P85 or P95 series of guns.
Yeah.
And it was just one of those things. PCCs, pistol caliber carbines, just weren't appreciated like they are now. I don't know if it was a reliability issue, if it was, I don't know why they didn't take off the first time.
For some reason, then it was like submachine guns. Like if you had something in pistol caliber, it had to be small.
That's right. That's right. It had to be an MP5.
Had to be an Uzi, MP5, right?
Cobra or whatever. Yeah.
Intertech Tech 9 or whatever, something of that nature.
Keep your eyes open for the raffle. We're going to be obviously selling those tickets here. We'll have ways for people to sign out blocks of tickets, if you want to try to do a fundraiser on your own for him selling those raffle tickets.
You had one other question come in.
Sure, yeah.
And we'll do the giveaway for the stream. So cut over here real quick. We're going to just give away a little Paraforce knife here. They're the ones that you see up on the counter whenever you come in. And this actually goes to the person who asked the question, James Robinson. So come on down to the wait.
Oh, James Robinson, super cool guy. He's in the chat every week. Thanks for the support, James. Really appreciate it.
All right. His question is, what's the minimum caliber you recommend for defense, excluding 9mm, probably because it's basically impossible to get?
Right. Okay. So in terms of handgun calibers, Josh, I typically try to push people in the 9mm direction, obviously, because generally that ammunition is pretty widely available. Generally, right? In times like this, I would say that 380 is, it's the same diameter, slightly lighter bullet.
1 millimeter, 2 millimeters
shorter on the overall case length.
9mm is 9x19, 380 is 9x17.
Right. So 9mm short, 380, 9mm curves, those are all one and the same, right? In terms of wheel gun calibers, 38 is probably my floor there. And obviously, if you got a 357 wheel gun, you can shoot either 38 or 357 ammo. So that's a pretty big deal there. In terms of a long gun, right? If I'm looking for a rifle, generally speaking, I want something in 223 or 5.56, preferably semi-automatic with a detachable magazine. Living where we live, that's obviously not always doable because of different restrictions that are out there. But other options people may or may not have thought of, 30 carbine, pretty good, right? 38 special, 357 equivalent there, roughly speaking, right? Long guns in 9mm, long guns in different calibers like 44 and 45 are out there as well, or something that is a little bit unexpected, probably coming from me. Your Winchester Model 94 or Marlin 336 and 3030. You know what? If that's what you have, it will definitely do what you need it to do. Collateral damage and over penetration are real things, so you're definitely going to want to be careful there. But generally speaking, James, I'm looking for, if it's a handgun, I'm looking for 380 or 38 or higher. And with rifles, we have a little bit more flexibility. In terms of shotguns, obviously, I generally say shotguns are not my first choice.
Unless.
So Chris asked, maybe just expand on that. I know we're getting a little late in the evening, but maybe we should do another series. But why would you not says you're shitting on his world right now. Well, I know shotgun.
So
I know we talked about it before, but
quite
Many reasons. There's a lot.
There's quite a few reasons, right? But one of Pat's favorite things to say is that he would only use one for home defense if his home were being invaded by
birds.
Birds.
The bird invasion.
Okay. So maybe let's go back and forth here. Okay. I'll start with one reason why it would probably be the last thing that I choose.
Hit me. What you got?
Ammunition capacity.
So
Okay.
ammunition management, right?
Right.
So the tube, right? If I have a tube-fed shotgun, guess what? I can load that thing one round at a time, right? I can probably hold 5 in my tube. Maybe I got an extended tube. Maybe I can hold 8 in my tube. How many problems can I solve with 8 rounds in my shotgun? Well, 8 if I guarantee all my hits and all of my hits do the trick, right? If I'm planning on 2 rounds per threat, which seems pretty reasonable to me, now I can solve up to 4 problems, but I still got to think about ammunition management because I'm depleting the shotgun every time I shoot it, right? So generally speaking, even if you've ever been trained on a shotgun to actually use it, it's typically like shoot 1, load 1, shoot 2, load 2, right? You really got to be on top of it with your ammunition management. So that's one. What's another reason?
Very loud.
Super loud, especially indoors in enclosed spaces, right? When does bad stuff usually happen, Josh?
At nighttime.
At nighttime, right? So shotguns indoors. Muzzle flash, a lot or a little?
Super bright.
Incredibly bright,
Super
right?
bright.
So some guy came into my house and I shot at him with 2 3/4 inch 12 gauge buckshot, right? So how many projectiles did I just send that guy's way? 8, 9, 12?
At least 8.
Generally speaking, 8, right? If I put 6 on the target, how many 35 caliber projectiles are hurtling through space right now with nowhere to go? At least 2, right?
Couple 2 tree.
Right. So I still got to get all of those rounds onto that target, right? And if I miss any of those rounds onto that target, where are they going to end up? I need to know that. If I'm not using buckshot because I'm worried about over penetration, right? Things of that nature, then I'm going to have to use something smaller, right? How small can I possibly go down the spectrum of shot that is reliably going to, as we talked about earlier, penetrate this guy's rib cage and get into all of these good pipes and pumps, right? And help me win that fight.
That's a tough one. As we all know, there's a million different kinds of shotgun shells out there, right? Some people like to use slugs. Some people, like to use buckshot. Some people like to alternate.
Yeah, I've heard that before. That
for some
makes me
reason.
nervous as hell.
yeah.
That makes me
So
nervous as hell.
Another reason, recoil, right?
Yeah, recoil being what it is, right? That shotgun, if I'm a smaller person, it's going to have a lot of force going down range. It's also going to have a lot of force coming back my way, right? And I have to be able to resist that recoil, and I have to be able to get an accurate shot on the target. What about manually cycling the shotgun, Josh? Under duress in the dark, when I'm compromised, what do you suppose are the chances that I'm going to remember to rack that shotgun aggressively enough to get extraction, ejection, and get that next round up in the chamber if I've never trained on that shotgun?
Correct. Not to short stroke it.
Not to short stroke.
I think I want to say that's the biggest thing too. The people who advocate for shotguns
have no training.
Have never trained
To a
with
man.
it, to know that it's not the right tool. A lot of people think that a firearm is like a fire extinguisher. I buy it, I put it in the closet, and it's good to go until I need it, and I never have to worry about it again, and it's just there. And that's just not the case. It's just dumb.
Are you saying that having a gun doesn't make me armed? Is that what you're telling me?
That is extremely accurate.
Here's one thing that I'm going to get out there, okay? And we talk about this. Whoever in the 1980s started saying, oh yeah, all you got to do is just rack that action, and the burglar will hear that sound and just run right out of your house, okay? Let's talk about that. We are not in a cartoon.
I think it was Elmer Fudd.
Could have been, yeah.
If I hear you rack a shotgun, you know what signal that sends to me? This person has no idea what they're doing. Let me beat the balls off them and take their shotgun. Because obviously you know that a shotgun is the end-all be-all defensive tool because some guy that doesn't know anything either told you that.
If you hear somebody say that, quickly
Immediately end that conversation.
Quickly pump the brakes on that, okay? That's not true. Do you really want to just hope that that's going to happen, right? That somebody's going to hear you go, shh.
What if he's on drugs? What if he doesn't get
First of all, now you've chambered a round, so you're down a round. So you should immediately
now I got to plus up my shotgun.
Plus up your shotgun, right? Do you really want to bank on, first of all, that they heard that happen? Second of all, that they're a burglar in a striped costume from, a Disney cartoon, and they're going to be like, oh, I better get out of here.
Right.
I don't want to bank on that.
Well, and guess what? I don't keep a gun in my house ready to go, guys, for the guy that came to steal my stuff. I don't worry about that guy. That guy is not a real threat, right? The guy that came into my house is not there for the same reason as the guy that broke into my house to come and hurt people, right? And the guy that came in to break into your house and hurt people, if he hears you rack a shotgun, if he's determined to come in there and hurt people, that's probably not going to be a great deterrent. And if it is a great deterrent, then he probably wasn't there to do what you thought he was there to do, right? Determined people, guys, that make decisions to go out and harm other people, they're not afraid of you. I promise you they're not. They're not afraid of me either. So don't take it the wrong way. That's just not something that they're because they're violent people by their nature, right? So understand.
So let's, as a team, let's stop saying.
Yeah, let's just stop suggesting shotguns to
talk
folks.
to your uncles, talk to your grandparents, tell them to stop saying that, please.
Brian Kirby, he would love to see someone reload a shotgun under duress.
Absolutely, right?
It's not going to happen. Jim McGee, training is the key. No matter what tool you're using.
Any of the guns that you need, right? You're going to need some kind of training. And the shotgun learning curve is much steeper, I think.
Right.
And we can see a lot of police agencies catching on to that because they're going to AR-15s, right?
Right.
If you guys look at police cruisers nowadays,
right,
are they rolling around with shotguns or are they rolling around with AR-15s? Ask yourself why that is. AR-15s are much easier to.
With the shotgun is the guy who still carries a 6-gun, a wheel gun,
right?
Because he didn't want to.
Yeah, don't worry, he'll be retired next year. You don't have to worry about that guy too much.
Or he's the door breacher on the SWAT team.
There you go. Yeah, like that's the only good reason to have one.
Breaching doors.
Jeremiah Prine asks you, Pat, how is that murder out blend?
I'm still working on that. These guys are.
It's good.
These guys are looking out for me because they're not drinking it that much. So there's actually.
I'm still working on the K cups.
Yeah, these guys are crushing those K cups, dude. I am jacked up on this murdered out coffee.
I'm scared of the AK K cup though.
Are you?
I haven't had one because of the espresso, and I'm worried that it will get me all Josiah'd up. Sometimes when Josiah pounds 3 Red Bulls in a day,
that dude turns into a fireball.
Scares me. He scares me.
We got a really good question though from Jason McDaniels. Are you going to offer a way to try to do the tactical games where we supply people what they need, like the vest, maybe even the other equipment? I'm not sure. That was, for beginners to try without having to purchase all that stuff. Is that maybe a goal of ours? I'm not sure.
I think that could be one way to do things. I think another thing would be maybe to just offer that as like some sort of a lesson. Like, hey, I want to come out and I just want to do, a one-on-one individual. I don't know what you call it exactly.
I almost think that's what like the university or like, I don't know if necessarily the tactical games folks approve of this kind of stuff, but like, we've kind of thought of doing like weekly, meet here Friday morning at this time, and we're gonna build up to like some physical training.
Just do some physical stuff and incorporate some shooting into that as well. We are, just so you guys know, when I say we, I mean like the little group of guys that we hang out with all the time. We do some of that stuff. We've been getting together on different mornings during the week and trying to get out and incorporate some physical training and some shooting together. And we would love to open some slots up for you guys to come and do that with us. And I think that would be a lot of fun. So there are going to be opportunities like that for you guys to come and hang and do some training and all of that good stuff. And I like the suggestion, though, of you guys being able to come and potentially use some of our stuff that's already kind of set up and get a feeling for it that way, rather than going to all the expense of buying some equipment that may or may not serve you the way that you thought it would initially.
Got another quick question from John DeWitt. Is there any advantage to taking a class twice, like taking your pistol mechanics class twice? Or once you take it, you learn, and there's really nothing else?
I mean, I think that there's definitely advantages to taking classes like that twice, John. Sure. Every time I've run the pistol mechanics course, I'm sure that there's some folks in the comments there that can kind of vouch for this. But every time that we go out and do a training class, the point of or the plan of instruction changes every single time. Yeah. Right? I have a generalized outline. I have certain points that I want to try and hit. I have certain benchmarks and things that I'm looking for. But in terms of like the actual training sessions and the drills and the blocks of instruction, they're different every single time, right? And the reason that they're different every single time is because I'm always trying to improve stuff. And every time I go and run a class for you guys, I see something that works, or I think of something that might work better, or I try and make some kind of little adjustment, right? Because that's the idea, right? Every time I'm training you guys, I'm training myself as an instructor to become better, right? So I'm using you guys to help me develop as well. So I would encourage you to take that class again. I would also say if you wanted to do a one-on-one session, there's probably more to be gained there from the two of us getting together for like a 1 hour session for $60, because then I can really focus on you and what you need. We're also going to be rolling out more layers. We're going to keep peeling back the layers of that onion. So we've already done the fundamentals of marksmanship. We've already introduced the pistol mechanics class. Next is going to be the concealed pistol 1.
Nice.
And the concealed pistol 1 is strictly working from guns in holsters, working that two-handed draw we were working on, working the one-hand draw, a lot of one-handed shooting stuff, a lot of shooting on the move stuff, and
no Uncle Mike's.
And no, yeah. But no, like, and still with the kind of coaching points and all that stuff. Concealed Pistol 2 is going to be another class that comes after Concealed 1. Concealed 2 is where we get into a little bit more advanced application stuff. One-handed pistol manipulations, racking your gun off your holster, drawing the gun with the support hand, right? Because maybe your shooting hand is down, right? So how do I access the gun from the opposite side? Stuff like that. So yeah, there's still more classes for you to participate in, John. Bear with me because in December, I'm going to introduce the Concealed 1. And then right after the new year, I'm going to introduce the Concealed 2.
Sweet.
So more classes to follow. All right, guys, I'm getting hungry.
I think that was a great show tonight. You know, why don't we give one more shout out to Z-Bart?
Z-Bart, thank you for being the highest level sponsor. I believe that's the diamond level sponsor for our second annual 22 to None Fun Run. Z-Bart, Western New York, plenty of locations around for you guys to support them. They really, really, really care about our local veterans and first responders because they donated $2,500 to our 22 to None Fun Run that will be going to Operation Build Up, a local 501c3 not-for-profit that provides struggling veterans and first responders with free homes, free cars, free canines, all to prevent homelessness and suicides. So huge of them to support us and in turn support Operation Build Up. So hoping maybe to have them on for maybe next week's live stream or the live stream right before the 22 to None Fun Run, Mr. Justin Coxwell from Operation Build Up. So I'm going to reach out to him and see if maybe he could come on for the one right before November 14th, which is our second annual 22 to None Fun Run.
That'd be dope.
That'd be cool, yeah.
Very
It'd be cool to have him on. But yeah, thank you. Thank you to Z-Bart. Please, guys, if you think of it, find a way to support them because they're awesome and they care.
Nice. Cool. See you, everybody.
Have a good night, guys.